If you are new, I'd like to welcome you to our family and today's video, as I plan on doing a few of these in the next upcoming weeks, is dedicated to all new mamas and old mamas alike, but specifically to self-conscious mamas. And usually this comes with the baby blues after your first child or after your fifth child. It all depends on the person, but today I'm going to be doing a little bit of self-care for you. If you can remember, I did a video about 2 weeks ago that was a self-care related video, but in this video I'm going to actually be doing different triggers with a unnecessary rainstorm in the background, because the Weather Channel never decides to let me know when it's going to rain randomly when I'm on my bike going 55. It doesn't feel like getting a tattoo all over your body or anything. I mean, why would you ever keep up with the weather? But anyway, today's video is all about you. And before we start, I do want to let you guys know that today's video is happily sponsored by adamandeve.com. I have worked with them once before in a dedicated review video and unboxing of some of my favorite toys, but today's video I'm going to be showing off some specific, not really toys, but items for self-conscious mamas to maybe make yourself feel a little bit better, because we all know as mothers, after 9 months of holding a child, some up to 10 pounds, it can be really rough on us, and we don't really feel the same afterwards. So just letting you know, you guys can happily use my discount code SATORI for a special offer of 50% off one item plus free shipping in the US and Canada. You can find the code down below in the description as well, and let's just jump right into it. So why don't you go ahead and sit back and relax, and we can start off with some gentle face brushing, and then we'll move on to some other things. So while I explain, before I show you some of my favorites that have helped me, I can begin to relax you with some brushing. And I decided to start doing these specific dedicated situation videos recently when I noticed a lot more family members of ours were requesting some certain situation videos, and usually it was only once in a while and I could put that out for the majority, but recently it seems like many people are going through a lot of the same situations, so I want to be able to help with that. One thing I can't help though is the lipstick I'm using today, which is Dollar General matte brand. Let's check it out. Horrible lipstick. It seems to never stick around my lips, so I apologize about that. So and just a forewarning, if you're not a mother, you can follow along for the relaxing triggers of today's video. I just want to put some attention on those mamas who are just going through the blues right now and just aren't feeling themselves, because it happened to me. And it happens to millions and millions across the world, even more. It's a very natural thing to go through the baby blues. I just want you to know, mama, that this video is all about you. So while I begin relaxing you, just gentle brushing. I'd like it if you could forget all your troubles and maybe close your eyes for a moment and listen to these gentle brushing sounds. This is all about you. It's so easy to love your little one with all of your person, but it's also normal to be having a bad day at the same time. So, one thing you can do to help a bad day is just, obviously, you know the way your baby sleeps. And in times that your little peanut is having a snooze, a hot bath can help things, definitely. Also, not to mention, why is it thundering? It's thundering like every single time I bring something else up. Are you guys hearing this? So, it is recommended directly after birth that it's actually very therapeutic to have a nice hot bath. Obviously, your little peanut is no longer inside of you, and your body begins the healing process directly after birth. So a hot bath can definitely start and act as a therapeutic relaxation technique for a mama on her bad day. Preceding a bath, this is where my Adam and Eve items come in. These are the same. Sorry about that. It keeps thundering like dramatically, but these items were the almost exact items that I used a few weeks after pregnancy. So obviously, you listen to your doctor of when it's okay to start being intimate again. But remember that it's all up to you in regards to if you're feeling ready. They usually recommend 4 to 6 weeks to be able to start having intercourse again. And to be completely honest with you, it took me a while before I was ready to start showing myself again, because I felt really self-conscious, and as somebody who suffers from really, really bad self-esteem issues, it's just very hard for me to cope. But one of the things I was personally recommended directly after to kind of make myself feel a little bit better and actually help my body heal is, they're really called Benoit balls, but these are the Nenoir balls, and they're magnetic hematite balls. So I'm going to open them in a minute, but let me explain that these are not only just for intimacy, they can help you tighten up for women who suffer from incontinence after pregnancy. And if you are unfamiliar with what incontinence is, it is pretty much where, and I suffer from it to this day, but these little guys will help you tighten back up and help prevent it, or at least reduce it. Incontinence is where you can't really hold in your pee after using the restroom. So, for example, I would sit down to use the bathroom, and when I would stand back up, a couple droplets of pee would come out. And this is just speaking as a woman. I'm not trying to disgust anybody who is watching who's not a mommy. Many mothers know this struggle, and using these balls, what you do, I'm not going to demonstrate them, but I'm just so sarcastic about this weather right now. Like, the Weather Channel said it was not supposed to rain whatsoever. What's it do? I mean, thank you, Weather Channel app. Okay, so immediately upon opening, they they're stuck together. And what you do, you take these little guys, and honestly, if they weren't magnetic, because they make the ones that are plastic, but Adam and Eve has really, really good materials they use in their products, so these are really strong, thank God. They won't get lost up there, no worries. They're very heavy, they're meant to be. Click them together. And go ahead and just place them up ever so slightly. Don't just casually shove them up there all the way. We don't want that. No, just put them up very little bit, about a couple inches, maybe about no farther than the length of your pointer finger. And then all you do is squeeze your Kegel muscles. Now, this can be used as an exercise, and this can also be used as a pleasure technique because, again, as I stated earlier, some mamas just don't want to be intimate, with their partners, and that's okay, especially if you're by yourself or on your own. You want to make yourself feel good, so you can give it a try. Again, this can help with urine incontinence, and it can definitely give a very pleasurable time because as you're moving, they move along with you and inside you. Again, with your exercise, I recommend like maybe 5 reps of 5 squeezes because you'll notice after having a baby, you're very different down there, even though your body is naturally healing itself. So yeah, that is definitely number 1 on my list. And as we go up, it gets a little more intimate each time. So let's take a break, and why don't I give you a little bit of a relaxing massage. This little one is an ASMR favorite in the trigger section. So, do you mind if I just rub this along you gently back and forth, just to kind of relax your mind, have you take a break, and just enjoy yourself. Okay. Just listen to the unnecessary rain in the background that nobody in my town asked for right now. Go ahead. While the massage ball just soothes the skin. I think some mommies forget that you have to be loving yourself to be able to love everybody else, especially your little one. And as somebody who did lose their kids because they didn't love themselves, I spent a lot of time while my children were babies not caring about anything. So that is my number 1 tip. It's just in the times that your little one doesn't need direct care while he, she are sleeping or just enjoying themselves. Take some time for yourself, okay? Read a book. Have a little tiger snooze with your chitlin. That's what my husband calls them, chitlins, which means chicken guts. That's okay. Just remember to take time for you. Okay. with relaxation again, type of self-care. Speaking of earlier, whenever I spoke of intimacy, if I say spoke one more time about intimacy, making yourself feel good, especially as a female, just after having a child again, your body just doesn't feel, it's really, really hard to feel, physically good. You look in the mirror and you think, oh, my body didn't bounce back the way I thought it would, or I just didn't think that I would look a certain way. One thing that I definitely found that was beneficial was taking time and, whenever possible, applying a full face of makeup and trying to dress sexy. Every woman likes to feel good, even though those things don't matter in life, but it's always good to feel sexy and feel wanted. And, your significant other might not think you're ready to feel that way. So one thing I noticed myself and from other mamas is you think, oh, my significant other doesn't want to touch me. They think that I'm gross. They think that I'm ugly. But usually that's really not the case. Most first-time parents and even previous-time parents or parents, if I could think of the right word, are just too scared. They're scared they're going to hurt you. They're scared you're still too gentle to be touched at the moment. So one thing you can do for yourself, or if you want to seduce your partner, is, I have two of these, lingerie. And the lingerie that I wore after, which was only a few times, but were really fun times because I dressed up for myself. I didn't dress up for my husband. I didn't, dress up. What I did was, one night, I was just feeling really gross. It was about, I think, 2 months after my birth of Odin, my very first time, and I was feeling really low about myself, and I started getting into makeup. If you look at my old previous Facebook posts, you can see that I was a Sephora, or, I'm kidding, but no, I'm not. I got all ready, did a full face of makeup that looked horrible, but I felt so good. I used my old digital camera I used to use for ASMR videos. It was a Canon and it was meant to look old-fashioned. I bought these little guys, which is a full-body crotchless fishnet, which is a type of lingerie. I put it on and I took a ton of photos and I sent them to my husband when he was at work, and when he got home, it was probably 3 or 4 times after we started being intimate again, spread over a long time. So it was really, really nice. It was really intimate. It was romantic. And above all, I felt really sexy. So I chose this to show you guys because, number one, it's one size, all body types, whether you're big, small, or in between. The fabric is very well, it stretches, so I'm going to open that and show you the fabric on it, including the other ones, which are just the lower fishnets, but they're crotchless on both sides as well, so it's a good thing I have scissors. Which next, with your permission, I'm just going to give you a little bitty haircut, which is another tip I recommend as a self-conscious mama. It's not feeling herself. I didn't cut into the, oh yeah, I did. Fabric. All lingerie I've bought from adamandeve.com has been super soft and durable. It's harder to rip than, so-called more mainstream stores, which Adam and Eve is a big brand. I'm stating that the ones in the mall. I'm not gonna say who it is, but all of their lingerie just tears all the time. But we're going to have a really hard time getting this off, aren't we? So why don't I give you a simple iMovie edit to solve this issue? I know that this looks super, super tight, but it stretches super far without tearing. Look how far I am past my skin, and so on and so forth. And in my opinion, it covered up the parts of me that I just wasn't ready to show yet, but at the same time made my figure look really nice. Again, I think that this outfit specifically looks good on any body type, big, small, and again, in between. We are all beautiful women, no matter what our weight is, and that's just my opinion. You're beautiful the way you are, but again, I do understand having a baby really can make you feel self-conscious. Again, you don't know exactly what's going on down there your first time. You're hurting in places you didn't know existed. And it can just be a really big process to get back to that. And then again, the other, don't you dare. I stopped something bad from happening. Big things dropped. Okay. So, that one was really easy. These are a little bit more tight, covering a lot more skin. So again, if you're just feeling not so yourself, but would like to try getting and feeling a little bit sexy, this covers a lot more area and again is one size as well. So that's what I really like about Adam and Eve's fabric. Again, I've never had one pair of lingerie, whether it be the silky kind, which are called the baby dolls, I believe, and like body fishnets like these. It takes a lot for them to tear, and they are very, very noticed and caring of all body types. So again, when you do have the time, and if you want to, just go ahead, put a full face of makeup on. Don't put any on at all. Do whatever makes you feel sexy. Is there something on my eyeball? It feels like, yeah, there is. Look. Anyway, do something that makes you feel sexy, okay? And we'll save the last one for intimacy. But before that, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a little brush and snip, brush and snip, brush and snip. Okay. Taking care of yourself with those who have postpartum depression, aka the baby blues, can be really hard. I suffered from it. I didn't wash my hair for weeks. I just didn't care. I could care less. I wanted to make sure my kids were changed and fed, and in those times, it was really dark. Always make sure, number one, you have a friend to reach out to. Remember, you always have a family here on YouTube. Me, are always going to be here for you. But somebody physically and close to you, please don't ever hesitate to ask for help, because again, what I mentioned earlier, is as long as you love yourself, you can love anybody else, or at least as long as you care for yourself and you're tending to yourself. Make sure in the mornings, because sometimes the days collide together. May I? Okay. The days collide together as a new mama, and you don't know what's up and what's down. You forget the times, you look at the clock and you realize it's been 2 weeks. Feeding is really different, so just make sure you're reaching out to somebody, and whether that be a friend or somebody in the mental health field, just make sure you're taking care of you. There's nothing, I promise you, another mother hasn't experienced. And it's always good to have somebody to relate to. So I'm actually going to be just gently spritzing down, again, as this is just triggers, your hair with a rose spray, which I used a few weeks ago in my chunky foil highlights video. I think it was that one. Or was it the face massage? I use this in a lot, but listen to the rain. Tap, tap, tapping. I'm just going to go ahead and mist down your hair as soon as my shirt starts fitting properly. Here we go. Go ahead and comb that through. Okay. We're just going to just do a little trim, so no comb needed. Sometimes we as moms don't realize that we haven't really taken care of ourselves, and that's okay. It happens again. I'm going to say it 1,000 times. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So many of us go through it, and if you're going through it, there's nothing wrong with that. But one of my favorite things was finding a hairstylist that I trusted to go to and help me fix up my hair again. You know, again, postpartum mamas forget to shower, we forget to shave. You don't have to do anything you damn well don't want to, but I'm saying, as somebody who, you know, takes care of their hair for the most part, you find yourself forgetting, and then you feel self-conscious to go to that hairstylist, and you feel gross, and you're like, I don't want them to judge me and everything. That's my story. Might be different for you, but make sure you're going somewhere you trust. Maybe get a blowout, which is, I believe, where they wash, blow dry, and style your hair a certain way. I might be wrong, but a nice haircut would do. But most importantly, in my opinion, you know, all of these things are nice, but I do want to point out, just make sure that you have some love. Some love surrounding you. You can love yourself, and you have a litlin who loves you just as you are. Just want to remind you of that. And again, my last but not least item, which I'll show in a moment, is, are you serious? Did I have this on here the whole time? What the, oh god dang. Okay, I'm sorry. Dang, dollar store lipstick that looks so nice but doesn't stay on right at all. But again, regarding intimacy or just making yourself feel good, I'm gonna pull out the last one, but it's always nice to share with somebody else, in my experience. In my first Adam and Eve video, I did a toy unboxing review for like new couples and things like that. Couples who are afraid to try new things, but this one, and I mentioned the same exact one in my other one, which was 50 Shades of Grey. Horrible representation of the BDSM community, but the toys used in that movie are like now more mainstream. One of them being my absolute favorite. I've used it many times. Love it. And it can make you feel a little bit vulnerable, but definitely maybe getting into some play, taking your mind off things. This is for anybody, not just a new mama. Is the spread bar. And basically, I'm gonna cover that little booty up there. It is a bar that is wrapped around the ankles by cuffs. And I think they're Velcro cuffs, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yep, they are. I can see them right here. Or maybe we're gonna open them up and see, but very easy to get out of. No need for anxiety. These are very vanilla BDSM toys. But I found when I was feeling really down and as I got more comfortable, with myself, I would like to obviously dress up and just try to get back into what felt was lost in our relationship during my pregnancies. Because, you know, at first it's all like, oh, we're gonna focus on you, and then it slowly becomes about the baby. And for the rest of your life it will be like that. Obviously, your children come first, but when there is time, it's always nice to try new things and rekindle that wildness that you once had. But again, this Adam and Eve spread bar is safe. It's easy to get out of. Yep, pretty sure that's Velcro. Now, the spreader bar is not just, it can be adjusted to your length. You can go full on blown, like whoosh, or you can just very little itty bitty for dominant control or control of yourself. Wrap around significant other's neck. Okay. So, again, this is Velcro. Very soft fabric, so whenever it's wrapped around your ankles or your hands, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to leave a rash. They keep this part. I really like that they focused on that because I've been in cuffs that have literally been so tight that they've left cuts on the sides of my wrist. And that's not safe. That's not fun. To some it may be, but for me, I'm more of a comfort person. But all you do for arms and legs, you can put both of your wrists in here, your legs be bent over, or you can just put your ankles in the cuffs and stand up, and your significant other or yourself can use it, throw you around, and just have a little fun. But again, that's when you're ready, and if you are. So again, these are just some self-care tips, some, fun, something to do, and remember that even after you have a child, a little baby, and your life is changed forever, that it's still not changed forever with you, and you can still love yourself the way you did before. You just have a lot more responsibility in your life, and that's okay. Just remember to make time for you. I hope that these tips helped in some way. Little bit of ASMR triggers in between. Thank you once again, Adam and Eve, for sponsoring today's video, and again, you can use my code Satori for 50% off one item plus free shipping to the US and Canada. With that being said, family, as it pours and pours and pours down rain ridiculously, as it promised again that it wouldn't, I hope that you dug today's video and know that I love you with all of my person, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, family.